So if you see any ads of Mamaearth or Ecologica, that most probably be executed by me.
No one had a clear answer to what Founders Office really is.
We all love to use Blinkit, but what is going on behind the scenes?
Everyone over here had a very delightful experience कि 10 मिनट में चीज़ कैसे आ जाती है भाई. So the core behind this is the category management team. Whatever consumer needs, we make sure that that product is available in that area.
My day usually looks like how the previous day offtakes are, which is the top selling SKU, how is it doing, what is the growth.
I haven't had a chill day yet.
I had multiple moments of pride at Honasa, and they also said that we need more people from Altera because they are doing so great.
E-commerce is that one course which is my actual day-to-day job that I'm doing. There's nothing different from the role that I'm doing, what I learned in the classroom.
98% of my whole day I spend on Excel.
Every minute that you spend practicing Excel is going to save you hours.
Many times I realized that I wished I could not bunk that class of Excel at Altera.
Hello everybody, I'm Alek Tripathi, the co-founder and a mentor here at the Altera Institute, and I'm thrilled to have some of our alumni back here on campus. First of all, thank you guys for being here. It's always lovely to reconnect, and I'm sure for you guys it brings back a lot of great memories and some not so great memories also. I can't wait to hear some of your stories from work, but before we dive into those, maybe we could have a quick round of introduction, starting from you, Lakshita.
Hello, I'm Lakshita. I am from Jaipur. Currently, I'm Key Accounts Manager at Honasa, which is Mamaearth's parent company.
Hello everyone, my name is Harsh. I'm from Jalna, Maharashtra. Earlier I used to work for an agri-input industry. Post that I'm a passed out student from PGB batch 2024, and currently I'm working as Deputy Manager in Category Management Team Blinkit.
Hello guys, I am Kratagya. I am from Indore, Madhya Pradesh, and I was a part of PGB 2024, and I am a part of revenue team at Honasa, basically looking after performance on Amazon.
Hi, my name is Nikhil Agarwal. I am from Delhi, NCR. Right now, I am part of One Digital Stack, which is an e-commerce analytics company. Before joining Altera, I was an engineer by profession.
I can't tell you how proud it makes me to hear some of the roles that you guys are doing. Also a reflection that actually you guys within e-commerce are working in 3 different divisions, right? So obviously Honasa is the brand selling on the platforms, then there's Blinkit, which is the platform itself, and One Digital Stack, which is one of the most popular e-commerce enablers. But I'm sure our audience is really interested in understanding what you do a little bit more. So if you could explain what a typical day looks like, Kratagya, maybe we could start with you. So for example, you said you work in the revenue team, right?
Correct.
So what does that mean? What does a typical day look like in your life?
So my day starts with looking yesterday's sales and how much did I spend to get those sales, and that spend is what percentage of that sales.
Right.
So if I also my outputs metrics like ROAS, and which is basically how effectively I spend that money to get a certain amount of sales.
For clarity, Kratagya, when you say spend money, you mean on advertising on Amazon?
Correct. Whatever money I spend consumed entirely for advertising my products on Amazon.
So a lot of people don't actually know this, right? When you're shopping on Amazon, you see a lot of ads, maybe sometimes without realizing that they're ads, and your job essentially is to manage those for Mamaearth.
So if you see any ads of Mamaearth or Ecologica, that most probably be executed by me.
Got it. Super. Very keen to understand what it takes to do that job much better. But maybe, Nikhil, you could talk us through, as a part of the founder's office at One Digital Stack, in your case, maybe you have a wider set of responsibilities. What does that look like? How do you plan your day and week?
So for me, there is no set template for a day. Every day is a new day for me. Some days I'm working with the clients, some days I'm working with the founders to create some decks or something. Some days I'm working with the accounts team to figure out which clients are a problem for us. Other days, I haven't had a chill day yet, but there are some slow days, obviously. But currently, I am working with the clients and the delivery side of things. So mostly my day starts with figuring out which all clients to look at today, what are all the deliverables that I have to do today, and just catch up with the clients and see what do they need from the data standpoint, and how.
And just for clarity, the clients of One Digital Stack are consumer companies which are using your products and services. And what kinds of products are these?
It is anything from FMCG to consumer products to food and beverages, anything that sells online, anything that sells on Amazon or Blinkit. Those companies are our clients.
Super. Sounds super intense, but also very fulfilling. And I think what makes me very happy is that in both of your cases, you're working directly to generate revenue for the company. I've always maintained that it's very important early on in your career to be directly involved with generating revenue for the company, because as long as you're doing that, you're adding value and you'll get value back from the company as well. Harsh, maybe we can talk about your life at Blinkit. Blinkit is, obviously we all love to use Blinkit, but what is going on behind the scenes? What do you do there?
Yeah, so my day look like it starts at 11. Post that assets.
So 2 hours later than your day at Altera.
Yeah, no matter if I get early to the office also, but my day starts at 11 after breakfast and coffee. So post that everyone over here is get a very delightful experience कि 10 मिनट में चीज़ कैसे आ जाती है भाई. So the core behind this is the category management team, who usually whatever consumer needs on a platform, whatever they search, we make sure that that product is available in that area.
And you manage pet food as a category.
So I look towards 3 categories, which is pet care, personal care, and oral care. I have few brands in each category. Okay. So my day look like, usually it starts with looking towards last day data, month till date, what is the growth and where is the degrowth. Then we do a RCA by looking towards various data points. What is the reason behind this degrowth? Other than this, we also look towards price competitiveness on our competition platforms, just to make sure we don't lose customers.
That's very interesting, because essentially very similar to Kratagya's role, you're looking at data to make decisions. But Harsh, just maybe help us understand, if you look at data and say that a particular pack or brand is declining, because maybe the discount is running is a bit low. What is your role then after that? After you've found that out from data, how do you fix for that to make sure that the Blinkit business grows?
So we reach out to brands, first of all, that the discounts on this particular pack is higher than what you are offering on our platform, and we need price parity over here. So this is the first approach. Then brands usually, they just tell us we did not floated this discount, they are self-funding it.
Right.
So, but to maintain price parity, it is a win-win situation. We always tell brand that you are not a discounted led first company. So just tell them to reduce the discounts, or else sometimes we self-fund it also. Yeah.
So a large part of your job is to then speak to account managers on the brand side.
Yeah, speak to brand side account managers.
And speaking of account managers, Lakshita, maybe you want to tell us how your day at Honasa looks like.
My day is very similar to that of Harsh. It's just I'm on the brand side of the role. So currently I'm leading one of the QC accounts, which is Blinkit. My day usually looks like how the previous day offtakes are, which is the top selling SKU, how is it doing, what is the growth, which is the brand and category that is now moving as the season changes or it picks up. What is that one category that would be doing better?
Great. And whatever you guys are saying, I'm sure for somebody with an outsider's perspective is appearing very daunting. In the sense that because we consume a lot of these products and apps, before we're on the business side, we don't think about what is going on in the back end. But you guys obviously are still really early on in your careers and you're managing to do great jobs here. But if you had to just summarize what skills are needed to do really well, and how you felt when you started on day one. Maybe we can talk about that. Lakshita, we could start from you.
So starting with, I think first principle thinking is the most important thing required in any of our job roles, because once you see that anything is not going as per plan, be it our off takes or the, when I say off takes, I mean sales on our platforms or the spends that we are doing.
Harsh, what do you think?
If I talk about skill, which I feel like when I joined Altera, I was lacking into that skill. which I developed over here, and in work I did the best out of it. That is Excel. 98% of my whole day I spend on Excel. No matter if it is planning or presenting your plan or structuring the data. So Excel is one of the top skill which everyone should learn.
Yeah, no, and that's always something that actually in a lot of B schools you don't learn, and that's why a lot of you guys included a student's crib saying, why do we have to do so much Excel? And I always tell them, no matter how much you do here, it is lesser. Every minute that you spend practicing Excel is going to save you hours in your job. So that's
Many times I realized that I wished I could not bunk that class of Excel at Altera because now I spend 1 hour extra to do all the calculations.
Absolutely. Nikhil, of course, for you it was a bit different because you had prior work experience, but in a very different field, in a technical specialist role. Moving from there to a really wide set of responsibilities as a part of Founder's Office, how was that like? Did you feel equipped to be able to do this? I'm sure our audience is really keen to understand that.
So to be very honest, I was overwhelmed but blank at the same time. Overwhelmed because the expectations were very high.
Yeah.
Blank because no one had a clear answer to what Founder's Office really is. But the skills that really helped me were to manage expectations more than anything. So if I could estimate or predict what my client needs or what my manager needs, I can work towards it. And the second thing that really helped me was to go deeper and find the insight to the problem. So whether it was a client level problem, whether it was an internal problem, to go deeper and to understand where the problem originally came from. And that usually leads to an answer. If not the full answer, at least it gives me a direction to look at.
Right. No, it's very interesting because what you mentioned, I think, sticks with me is that your job is to find and understand the client's requirement, right? That's what all of marketing really is. It's just that instead of consumers, you're thinking about enterprise clients and trying to find their needs. Unfortunately, it's tougher for you because then you have to solve those needs also. It's not just enough to find out those needs, but wonderful. Kratagya, you're in a specialist role in performance marketing. So what are the skills do you think are required to do well in a role like that?
I think the very, very important skills that everybody needs who wants to work in the performance side of things is your ability to think any kind of problem structurally. First, you divide the main problem into 4 buckets, then do the RCA, which buckets is leading to the problem. So this is a very important skill that everybody needs to excel in performance marketing.
And Kratagya, if I were to ask you which courses at Altera are sticking with you and helping you out, which might those be?
I think every course around e-commerce and media planning is still with me at my work at Honasa, because when we practiced media planning a lot of time, we practiced our quarterly planning for e-commerce platforms.
Right.
So I think those courses helped me a lot.
Right. Harsh, what about you? Because one of the things that, at least when we're designing the curriculum, we strive to do is make you guys more day one ready by exposing you to some situations which hopefully come back to you when you finally are out in the world and doing something. So if you've had a situation like that where anything that you did while at Altera, whether it was a course or a life project that came back to you, does anything come to mind?
So here when I did a live project with NMAT Habit to design their content strategy. So right now, for whichever brand I work over here at Blinkit, so I usually whatever I learned in that live project, how does customers see the PDP images? What does exactly it should reflect from PDP images to sell through those products?
PDP is the product display
images which you see
on Blinkit.
On Blinkit.
Yeah.
So whatever the learnings from that live project was there, I usually implement over here. And if I talk about some curriculum courses, like GTM is one of the course which every day I use at Blinkit, because inventory management, numeric availability, weighted availability is every day we fight for.
Wow, outstanding. That makes me very happy to know that those courses are coming in handy for you. Lakshita, what about you? Is there any course that you think that you're thankful that you attended and maybe that you hope that you would spend more time in class working on?
E-commerce is that one course which is my actual day-to-day job that I'm doing. There's nothing different from the role that I'm doing, what I learned in the classroom. Everything that we were taught is exactly what I'm doing.
I don't know about you guys, but when I started working after my B school at HUL, I had a very tough time explaining to the people around me what I do because I was working in sales at HUL. So my parents used to ask me, do you go and sell soap yourself? Do you sell shampoo yourself? And I said, no, I'm a sales manager. My job is to drive growth back then in Orissa. Does that happen with you also, Nikhil? Or do you struggle to explain to your mother, for example, or to other people around you on what you do? Because it seems a bit advanced, right? How do you think people react?
Yeah, so I don't think even my mother knows that I work in the founder's office, because every time I mention founder's office, everyone's question is, what exactly is founder's office?
Yeah.
And then especially the company where I'm working at, One Digital Stack, it works at enabling e-commerce for different brands. So that is also a bit of a niche.
So people hardly understand e-commerce.
Yeah.
Forget understanding enablers for e-commerce. Yeah.
So I usually tell them that I help brands with analytics for their growth, and that is how I explain it to them. Mostly, if someone is from the business side of things, then it is relatively easy. But still, I would stick to growth by analytics.
What about you, Kratagya? Do people understand that if an ad is running on Amazon, what is your role? An ad is there, it'll run. What are you doing there?
So that's the second line. First, nobody understands what performance marketing is.
Correct.
When I first informed my parents that I got an opportunity at Honasa as a performance marketer, they thought what it is. They didn't understand anything about it. So I tried to explain in a very easy language to them that I'll be running ads on Amazon. Like the ads you see on your Facebook, that particular banner you see, I'll be the one responsible for that particular banner to be visible in front of you.
As proud as I am feeling hearing about all the work that you guys are doing, I'm sure you guys have had some moments of pride, even though it's been relatively short, just under a year that you started to work. But have there been any moments where you felt proud of the work that you guys are doing in these companies? Lakshita, maybe we can start with you.
So within the span of last 8-9 months, me and my team have been recognized a couple of times. But one time when it actually felt really nice was when I was individually recognized as the best debutant in the last 3 months.
Recognized by whom?
Recognized by our Vice President of E-commerce.
Nice.
So I was titled as the best debutant in the last 3 months because as a fresher, I was the one who was performing the best among all the recent hires.
Great. Harsh, you've managed your part of your family business in the past, which was in food agri input. Compared to that, do you think that you feel a certain level of pride here because there's more people, maybe there's more recognition?
Yeah, like if I compare to the earlier work which I used to do, that was not in a structured way or directional wise. It was more on like biases कि मुझे ये feel हो रहा है तो ये कर लेना चाहिए. But now whatever decision we make over here at Blinkit, it is all data backed. So the probability of getting losses or wins, the probability of wins is very much higher to those data led decisions.
Wonderful. Kratagya, what about you? Have you had a moment of pride at work?
So I had multiple moments of pride at Honasa, but there is one which is still stick to me and it will always be there with me whenever I go in my life, which was we had a thing called town hall which happens every quarterly. So during the town hall, me and another student which also got hired at Honasa from Altera, we all of us got recognized as the best performer for the entire quarter, and they also said that we need more people from Altera because they are doing so great. So that moment was very, very proud for me, and I felt really, really great grateful for Altera and really great for myself.
No, I can't tell you how happy that makes me, because finally the value comes from you guys doing good work, because you are going to be our first batch of alumni forever. Nobody can take that tag away, and I can't wait for you to take more and more leadership responsibilities as time goes on, and it makes me very happy that you're performing well. Nikhil, what about you? Of course, in your case, it's a relatively smaller setup in terms of number of people, more individual responsibility. So what gives you pride at work?
So recently there was one format of how we should do launch calls for launching the client. When I say launching the client is how after the setup, when the client first sees the product, how should we do that? And that format was so hit that it is now filtering down to all the account managers and all the client meetings. And also recently also picked up on the investors pitch deck which we were creating, and that got recognized by the founders that it was a good work done. So naturally, because I was directly working with the founders, there are smaller wins, but those smaller wins add up to a lot.
Yeah, no, when you say that, some of the memories that come back to me from your batch was when you guys were working on live projects, and when a company particularly was appreciative of the fact that you were adding value. I think that used to be the highlight of my week and month, because obviously I knew that you guys were working really hard. But for then you to get validation from companies and live projects to do that, I think that's one of my fondest memories. And apart from, of course, when you got hired. Lakshita, you spoke about diverse backgrounds also, right? So one of the things that I'm sure a lot of people have as a question is how important prior work experience is, because a lot of the roles that you're doing, maybe are they more comfortable to do if you have worked in the past, even if it's not relevant? You obviously took on this responsibility as a fresher, and now you're speaking to professionals on the other side as a retailer. How do you think that experience is compared to other people maybe who have work experience in the past?
So when I see people who have work experiences and they are my colleagues, I think there's not much of a difference between me and them, because a lot of things we were taught at Altera really came handy. We were even taught negotiation skills and many other people skills, which I use on day-to-day conversations when I pick up with platform side. So initially, when I joined Altera, I had some apprehensions about how a fresher might fit into this course and what would be the job roles would be like. But not even a single class did I feel like there was a difference in the way I was grasping things as compared to somebody who had prior experience in the similar fields or different.
Right. Harsh, you had, of course, worked in your food agri company. So you had a role with high ownership, but in a smaller organization setting, and maybe a lot more unorganized, right? How do you see that helping you today in your role at Blinkit?
Earlier in which company I used to work, that Agri Input, I used to do a lot of field visits. I used to talk to a lot of retailers, and that experience really helped me at Blinkit, just because I know the supply chain, how it works in logistic wise, how it works at ground level.
Right.
So over here now, while working at Blinkit, it makes me a lot of easy to negotiate it with brands or with the people who are at a brand side.
Right. Lastly, Nikhil, of course, you were the best outgoing student of the previous batch. I can make that public. So if you have any advice for people who are looking to apply to the institute, anything to keep in mind as their journeys maybe start, whether it's here or in another B school, what might that be?
I think one of the key things to keep in mind would be to keep all the options open and not limit yourself to a particular, although it's good to have aspiration of a particular role, but not to be very focused that I want to do this only. Because when I came to Altera, I also had that aspiration that I want to do this and do that particular kind of role. But the options opened up. Founder's office was something that I didn't even know existed, and I got into that, and I'm loving that. But I think the main thing I would want to tell people is that to keep the options open, to have a lookout at what is there in the market, and also to get into the habit of going into the depth and asking why this is happening.
Right. I think that's a very important point because the reality is that especially pre-B school, the knowledge about a lot of these careers is very shallow, right? So if we look at your careers, while performance marketing is something that a lot of people have heard, maybe practiced, etc. Kritagya, I'm sure you'll agree that the view of performance marketing that one has from outside, which is that, or you'll write macros and automated data churning will happen and you will not have to do much. It's very different versus reality because there are so many different variables. There's product availability that comes in, there's discounts that come in which also impact your job. So if you had, Kritagya, any advice for people who are looking to join Altera, what might that be?
I think I completely agree with Nikhil's point, but just to add on that, you should always be one who wants to apply into the Altera should always be ready to learn new things. She or he should always be prepared that they're gonna come across a new thing which is something they've never heard of, which might be something which they've never heard of, so they'll have to learn it, and which will be surprisingly help in their journey, in their corporate journey throughout the years.
Right. That's the stance that I always have when students ask me, I have an English honors background, will I be able to get into e-commerce? Or I have an engineering background, will I be able to get into brand management? Or I have a commerce background, what will I be able to get into, right? And I always maintain, look, the background is not a prerequisite. But you have to be comfortable with learning new things, what you said. I think that's very, very insightful. Because for you to not have a background is okay, but then you have to stretch yourself outside your comfort zone to learn things. So if you're an English honors grad, for example, you've not done a lot of math in the past. That's perfectly fine. But you can't not be okay to pick that up as you get into business, because business is about numbers, just as an example. Similarly, if you're an engineer and you feel that don't have any creative spark, that's fine if you've not done it in the past, but you have to be open to generating ideas. I think in the innovation project, for example, when you generated 100 plus ideas, product ideas, you have to be open to doing that and getting those experiences. It feels so great to see you guys doing well. It always feels great to see our students doing well after their time here at the Altera Institute. To hear about your work stories, the impact that you're creating and the recognition that you're receiving, I can't tell you how proud that makes me feel. I'm really thankful for you guys to take this time out also to address students who might potentially want to join the Altera Institute. Thank you. Don't be strangers. We'll see each other again soon. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for inviting us, Ali.